Big Sports Radio, glad you're here with us. Larry Smith, Mike Hegley, Brad Sturdy, Tony Cordero producing for us. We appreciate his talents as always. Welcome to July and welcome to the new world of the Big Ten. That in just a moment. We've got a lot coming up. We'll talk a little NBA free agency coming up. Which team do the fellas think really improved themselves over these past couple of weeks? We'll talk about that. Also, the commissioner from the MAC, the Mid-American Conference. Great conversation coming up at the bottom of the hour. We've talked so much about the Power Four, obviously the Big Ten and the SEC, and you know what they've been doing, and the tens of millions of dollars in TV money coming in. How about the other guys, the group of five, those other schools trying to still stay relevant and make their own decisions in the best interest of student athletes? He's coming up at the bottom of the hour. We can't wait to talk to him and get his thoughts. Also, a bit later, talk a little Nebraska football as well. Luke Mullen coming in from the Lincoln, Nebraska newspaper and talking to him about all things Huskers in year two of Matt Rule. Fellas, though, does it smell different? Feeling different? I mean, the Big Ten is now 18 teams. Say hello to USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. It's been 2 years in the making, but finally, July of 2024 is here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all puts together. I mean, we actually, got to talk to Illinois Athletic Director Josh Wimby. Doesn't know what some of the schedules are going to look like. We know what football is going to look like, but we really don't know what basketball is going to look like. We got to pair them together. We don't know what the minor sports are going to look like, whether it be, you look at in the spring when you got baseball, softball, track, whatever it's going to be. It's really going to be a lot of fun though, I think, because it's new. And it's fun. We needed I think it does bring some kind of freshness to college sports. And I know people are down on NIL and transfer portal and all that stuff, but it's going to be exciting when you see, USC in the big house or, Ohio State heading out to play in Oregon or something like that. This is fun.
I got to be honest with you. I am so excited for a lot of reasons. First off, the matchups that Brad's talking about, Oregon, Washington, USC coming into the Big Ten, wanting to prove that they belong with Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. Those cross matchups are going to be fantastic. And obviously then you go into basketball with UCLA trying to prove they are there as well. You've got Musselman at USC, had an excellent run at Arkansas. It is going to be so fun. And even for those naysayers who want to whine about NIL, et cetera, you have teams, let's just look at basketball for an example, like Illinois, that can return two players and still be one of the top three favorites to win the conference. That was never the case in the past. So yeah, there's some downsides, but there's also a lot of excitement with this new world, and you got to appreciate it when it comes your way.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I mean, I think my grief over change lasted about a week. That was 2 years ago. I'm well over it. And so let's just bring it on. I'm with you. I'm one of those guys looking at schedules and looking at different flight schedules and seeing what games I can head west and go watch this fall. That's kind of where I am. I want to be there to see those traditional established Big Ten teams playing out in those Pac-12 stadiums. So that's what I'm looking at. I agree with you as well. And I think that it's one of those that, look, where I am, I'm ready for whatever the next wave is going to be done. I think we all are in agreement and have been in agreement for the past 2 years. This is not finished, even with the changes we saw last year with, the three teams going to the ACC, Oregon and Washington joining the other two, coming to the Pac-10, to the Big Ten. I mean, I think that we all have agreed that there's more coming. I'm ready to get that part over with as well. So whatever this is going to look like in 5 years, let's just get there so we can begin to settle in and watch whatever that is. So who knows? I don't want to cut it off. Any other thoughts before I move on to the next thing?
Yeah, but we only have, I think the other thing is, how do you think they will compete? How does USC, Oregon, how do they compete against Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State? I mean, I think it's like there's like this, I know they're not the same, but there's like this push and pull. Maybe they're not the Pac-12 anymore, but I think they want to prove that they're as good as the Big Ten, and does it say, like, if they do come in and play well or win the Big Ten, one of those teams win the Big Ten, does that take a little luster off the Big Ten? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun season, Nebraska came in and they were one of the top dogs, and they really have never been able to reach that pinnacle in the Big Ten. And of course, Penn State was a national title contender that hasn't been able to elevate quite to that level. And I'm sure Ohio State and Michigan want to say, you know what, you guys can be wherever you want in the pecking order, starting at number 3. So I think there's going to be that. And I don't think Dan Lanning out at Oregon, I don't think he plans on looking up at anybody. So this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I kind of like that. It's been all this time, to your point. It's been, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State trying to get in, and whoever's out of the West saying, come on, we just need to get a break and we can win this thing. Now it's a little more open, and I think the competition is going to be fun to see these other teams get in there. Glad I held off on my next thought. I wanted to jump ahead to Zach Edey. Kind of what a turn of events. I mean, I thought we felt for sure in the spring that he was going to be headed to France as part of Team Canada and probably would be maybe, I don't know, early second round pick. Instead, he's a lottery draft pick, and he's not going to France, backing out of the Canadian Olympic team.
I'm a little surprised that he's backing out of the Olympics because it's such a great, honor, but I understand he's young, and so he probably couldn't play in 4 years. But I was surprised he did that. I'm also surprised he was where he got drafted. I thought he would go in the first round after the season played out, but going number 9 is very interesting but he is, if he can make threes like he showed off in the combine, his ability to dominate around the hoop, to make threes, and people say, well, defensively, they're going to put him in pick and rolls. They do that with every big guy. I mean, this isn't new. It's not like they don't do that with Nikola Jokic. It's not like they don't do that with other guys. Rudy Gobert, we've seen that, defensive player of the year. They do that to him too. They're going to do that. But the thing is, if he's that good offensively, he's still going to be a positive thing. And I think it's interesting to see how we always say, well, the game has evolved. Has it evolved, or is it just we have it go up, and do we have it going back to maybe realizing that size does matter?
Yeah, the pendulum goes back and forth, and I do think he is a unique individual out there who will cause issues when he's on the court because of his mass and his height and that unique combination. I was surprised he pulled out, but then Golden State pulled Andrew Wiggins out of that Canadian camp. What really surprised me is if I was the Denver Nuggets, I would be telling Jamal Murray, let's not be doing this. Let's make sure you're healthy for the season because the rest of the Western Conference is improving and we can't afford to have you with any nagging injuries. But the Nuggets have not done that.
Yeah, they have not. I guess there's still time, I guess. And they're probably another couple of weeks away from leaving for Paris, maybe. So you look at the Canadian team, though, it's not just Jamal Murray, but Kelly Olynyk, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, who's just had a fantastic career so far with Oklahoma City after starring for a couple of years at Arizona State. So there's some talent there. Dylan Brooks, another big name that's really shown himself to be a solid pro. But yeah, interesting that we're not getting a chance to see Edey go for gold over there in France. Meanwhile, speaking of going for gold, a lot of controversy about the women's basketball team being picked. Team USA, no Caitlin Clark. Well, Caitlin gets a chance to show off her skills against the Olympic team as the other night on Tuesday, the WNBA All-Star team was picked. Now, what happens is they had the voting for the WNBA All-Star game. There are already 12 women that are on the national team. The top 10 vote getters outside of those 12 will make up the WNBA team, and a couple of star rookies on that team, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, which I think is outstanding. Well-deserved. Both, it looks like right now, the two front runners for Rookie of the Year, both setting league records in their first 5-6 weeks here in the season.
Yeah, it was funny. They've both been so productive. Angel Reese is a walking double-double, right? Caitlin Clark is, leading the league and, has set records for rookies from assists and rebounds and, assists, rebounds, and points. I mean, all those things. They've been fantastic. Turnovers too for Caitlin Clark. But some of that, if you watch some of those videos, you watch your teammates trying to catch the ball is not always pretty. But I do think that, I think those girls are really changing the game. And I think that it's great for this WNBA. I think it's fantastic to see them do this. I think this game is really cool the way it's set up. I really like this format. I think it brings attention to the sport, which is good. And I still think they probably missed an opportunity with Caitlin Clark being in the Olympics because more people would have watched. I mean, it's just reality. But I think also that they're doing a good job here of maybe marketing it and being able to still market this a little bit better and maybe get people to watch this before.
Well, and we've seen the ratings of the WNBA on Ion, which is hosted by some guy named Larry Smith.
That's because of his tie. They watch to see what tie he has.
Yes, on. Yes. So
hellacious suit collection. That's right.
Well, and that congratulations goes out both to you and the talent on the show, coupled with the great games that the WNBA women are putting on, which is obviously also attracting crowds. And I think this is a great way to capitalize on that. And I really honestly, Angel and Caitlin, look, you got to play a role here to keep people interested and entertained. And I think they're doing a really good job. So even if Angel wants to play the bad guy for a little bit, that's fine. They're attracting the eyeballs of people who normally wouldn't watch. And there's going to be quite a few of them who will stay and become fans of it because of that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to your point to watch this. And yeah, for me, it's been great to have a front row seat to this on Ion every Friday night. People were asking, where's Ion? Well, you have it on cable, probably. If not, just go to Pluto TV, the streaming service. It's free and it's outstanding. I've been in hotel rooms watching that after our show. If we don't have a post game show, I go back and watch the fourth quarter. But it's been a lot of fun. I know we did over 1.2 million households a couple of weeks ago for the Friday night on Ion. So, but back to the All-Star game. I'll be there in Phoenix as well. We'll have reports here on Big Sports Radio that weekend coming up here in 2 weeks. It's going to be exciting to your point. And Brad, I agree with you. It's great the way they're marketing this. You get to see the 10 women who are not part of that team. By the way, not just Caitlin Clark, not just Angel Reese, but how about the WNBA's current leading scorer? How about DeWanna Bonner, who's 5th all time in scoring in the WNBA? So it's not like these other 10 players are chopped liver. I mean, this is going to be a really exciting game when they do tip it off here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It brings it, like I said, brings interest. I think it's going to be good. And it's kind of, if you felt like you were snubbed, here's your chance. You got a chance to prove
it. That's the beautiful thing about athletics is there's a field of play, and then there's the opportunity to compete. So it should be a ton of fun, and they go out there and let it roll and see what the results are. And that's what people will be tuned in because they will be curious.
Yeah. By the way, that game is on ESPN Saturday night, July 20th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time is for the All-Star game. And as for Ion, I don't mind giving the shameless plug every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, doubleheader every Friday night for the rest of the regular season. Can't wait for that. All right. We can't wait to talk NBA free agency. We can't wait to talk to the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference and get his thoughts. By the way, this guy, 3 decades as a commissioner for 3 different conferences. So can't wait to get his insights on just this new world of college athletics. It's all I had. This is Big Sports Radio.